Hello, my lovely gems. Welcome to Soulsake Tarot. My name is Christina. I'm going to be doing your general read for the upcoming week of January. I hope that y'all are doing well. Let's get started. The self. I feel like the last read that we did was about transformation, and you guys just really like taking charge of your life. I want to say it was the idea that you were wanting something out of life with the person who basically kind of looked at you and was like, but you do see that your life doesn't demonstrate that you want any of the things that you say that you're wanting. And you really kind of like stepping back and being like, like maybe they've got something with that, like maybe I need to practice what it is that I'm, like if you're training for a race or something, you can't just like show up to a race and expect to be able to like keep up with anybody if you've never practiced. And so it's just kind of like that idea of like, maybe I should start actually living the life that it is that I want to create with another person, because it's not that person's job to create it for me. That's what it was. Okay. So we have the village and the dead end. The village, yo. The temple and the ocean and the self. And honestly, gems, I kind of feel like this whole... Sorry, cut my bangs. I feel like the whole idea here is just feeling like the environment that you had been in, keeping with the idea of living the life that it is that you want to live with another person. Like, if that's the life that you want, then why wouldn't you already be living in that manner? You're going to, like attracts like, and if you're not behaving that way, you're not going to attract people who want that. It's like saying, I don't know. But anyways, you get the idea. And I think that I want to say kind of reaching a dead end with like maybe friends, or, like possibly for some of my gems, like your roommates are moving. I mean, just kind of that idea of like your friends are leaving. They don't want to engage in your life anymore. Like you're changing, you're growing up, kind of that idea of like they didn't want you to grow up. They wanted you to just keep playing. And you were like, but that's not getting me where I want to be. And again, that transformation, that transition from like what you had been engaging in versus what you were wanting to engage in, and why the two didn't seem to coalesce well. And because you were worshiping something that was distracting you from focusing your attention on what it was that you really wanted. I feel like the example was, partying. Like, if you're partying all the time, then do you really want to be in a committed relationship with someone? Because if you did, then you would be living a life that would be open to allowing that in, instead of being like, oh, I changed completely for you. I feel like that's almost even, like in the Gemini, flip the script on people of like an argument that you may have been in with this person of, well, I changed for you, and them just kind of feeling like, which means that it's not a real change, that if you're not changing for yourself, then you're not actually changing. You're just gonna flip it around again. Like, the second something goes wrong or something doesn't go your way, you're just gonna flip it up again, and you're gonna go right back to doing what you were doing before, because that's what you were worshiping. But you were saying, oh no, this is what I want, but really all of your attention was elsewhere. And so you've been reaching in, still, coming into yourself, and I think, kind of bringing yourself back into balance. I mean, gems, y'all are like the dualistic ones of the zodiac signs, and And I feel like this is just kind of lending to the idea of you maybe finding that balance. Maybe you are actually starting to change for yourself, instead of changing for another person and then going to that person and saying, look what I did for you. You're doing it for yourself, which is good because that means that it'll actually stick, hopefully. I'm sure it will. Okay, let's see what else we can get for my gems. The star. I love. Part of the being out of balance, like that concept, is feeling, I think, unworthy of what it is that you want. Kind of this idea of just not believing that it was really like that you were good enough for it. And when you're bringing yourself back into balance and you're, instead of like a pendulum, and if you were looking at this relationship, like you're over here and this person's over here, and it's like you would have to swing all the way over here in order to get to them. And instead you're taking like those two sides that you're embodying, like your vices and your desires, and kind of bringing them together to create something that's just a more balanced version of yourself, so that you're not consumed by one thing or the other. Because, Geminis, I love you guys, but you're kind of obsessive in your nature. You get consumed by things. And I think a lot of times that's because of the fact that you go all or nothing, or not even nothing. It's like you're all for this person or you're like seeking to destroy them, like there's no, like in between. And so your emotions were out of control, and that made you feel insecure. It made you feel somehow incompetent. I mean, not that you were incompetent, but you were just out of balance. And I want to say just like putting too much pressure on this person to fix you, to, like to alter your life and therefore your approach to life. I want to say it's like a Buddhist saying, but the idea that, like those who say, once everything gets sorted out, then I'll find peace. And it's like, no, once you find peace, then everything else will fall into place. And I kind of feel like you guys are coming to that place where you're actually finding peace within, and therefore discovering, your own star quality, your own shining qualities, because you'd felt so out of balance and so in one direction, and you were like almost like this savior complex, like save me from myself. And it's like, that's so unhealthy, and you need to sort through that. And I feel like that's what you're sorting through. That's what you've been sorting through, is just kind of this, like, I don't need anybody to save me from myself. I just need to bring myself into balance so that I can really shine and really come into myself. Because you guys are so, creative and charismatic. And I mean, like, there's so many wonderful things about gems, but when you find yourself being pulled out of balance so regularly, I think it just, it triggers you. We have the Six of Swords and the Four of Swords. And it's just kind of that idea that you're laying it all to rest and you're moving past it. The Six of Swords is, oftentimes like literally moving. So, some of my gems may be moving. And other of you may just be moving away from a behavior, moving away from a mentality, moving away from the drastic swings of the pendulum and bringing it back into balance and moving in a more balanced manner. Seems like a very positive transformation, gems. Okay, let's see what else I can get for you guys. Let's try the hidden realm. Seven of Swords. Yeah, I mean, the Seven of Swords in this deck is the idea of feeling as though you have a calling. You're not certain what that calling is yet. But it's just that idea of like, in coming into yourself and coming into your star quality and coming into this, like this new balanced version of yourself, you're starting to feel a sense of purpose. Like you know that now you're actually working toward what it is that you want in life. And I don't think that you really necessarily know precisely what that is, but you feel more prepared for when the time comes. It's just a sense of readiness, like in bringing yourself into balance and coming into yourself, you feel ready for what will come next. Page of Swords and the Page of Wands. Just kind of like setting out excitedly toward, developing yourself. I think that once you find yourself in balance, then you're able to really move forward and progress in life in a way that you had previously kind of been, I want to say like you were coming up against walls and nothing was really going your way. And now that you're finding your balance, you're able to really kind of focus on how you can grow and develop. And, the Page of Wands is just this, excited, I'm ready to discover what will be next, I mean, there's just this feeling of lightness, like I feel like the weight of the world has been lifted off of your shoulders. And, as a result, you're no longer feeling confused about why things aren't going your way. And, you're ready to come into a relationship, a new intimacy with someone. I mean, because you guys have been wanting a relationship for like a hot minute. you keep going back to this person over and over again, and being rejected. But I feel like a lot of that was because of that mentality of will you fix me? You bring me back into balance. And this person being like, I can't do that for you. Like you have to do that for yourself. And I think once you realized the sincerity of what they were saying and the reality of it, and you worked toward doing it, that's what's setting you off on this new setting you toward this new intimacy. I don't know if it's with a new person entirely or if it's with the person that you had been, kind of back and forth with. We had the Judge pop out. And Gems, I feel like this is almost like a presentation that you have brought yourself into judgment. And I kind of get this like, look at me, look what I did. Like I brought this back into balance. I judged myself and brought balance to myself. Oops. And now I'm really coming into who I am. And I'm just waiting to hear the call. To really, set out on this new journey with, a higher level of skill. Can I get the feeling that you're wanting to show it off a little bit? Look at me, look at me. Good job. Okay, that's a lot of cards. We had the Lovers and the Six of Wands pop out. And honestly, Gems, I feel like you guys have just been waiting for this opportunity to really just, I want to say, like, get swept up in love. I mean, that's one of the things about you guys. You're so, I feel like of all of the air signs, you guys are like the most excitable. Like, you just get so excited about things. And I feel like you've been excited about this relationship that you've wanted, and you stepped back and you really, like, listened and heard what this person was saying to you, and I want to say, like, even agreed and decided to, take that next step forward in bringing yourself into balance. And now you're like ready to just kind of show how much progress you've made so that you can really be swept away in love. I feel like my Gems always love love. You guys are such romantics. Yeah, again, I mean, it's just kind of that idea of like, look what I did. I cut away with this behavior. I cut away with this mentality and this approach. And I'm no longer, I kind of want to say, like, not holding them on a pedestal, but like holding them to this expectation of your hero, because they wanted a partner. And you're like, look, I get it. Like, I feel like there's one of the reads where it was like, you don't want that relationship that's like the boring kind of relationship. You want the relationship where you guys are just like eat, sleep, and breathe each other. And I kind of get the feeling that you guys still have that mentality a little bit, but like in a way that's less needy, I'll say. Like, this feels excited rather than, I don't want to say desperate, but like sort of. And then you have the Three of Wands and the Two of Wands. The Three of Wands is my travel card. So if you guys are going on a trip, possibly to take this information to someone, or like if you want to, I kind of get the feeling that you guys are such grand gestures. But like, you're just like showing up and you're like, hey, let's go away for the weekend. Let's just really like talk about this and share with each other like what we've been going through. And like, I feel like you want to take sincere time. Like, you're like, I don't want to just have a conversation over the phone. Like, I don't want to just call you and tell you about this. Like, come away with me. Let's talk about this, because I feel like you feel very protective of the process and the means in which you're communicating it, because I feel like it's almost this, again, that demonstration of look what I did. And Gems, I mean, I really do feel like this sense of lightness and excitement. And so I feel like it's almost just like your whole energy's changed. Like, there's just been like this energetic shift, which is the transformation. I mean, plays into what your last read was. But it's like, that they'll feel your energy. That it'll feel different to them. And you want to be in their presence so that they can feel and experience this change in you. And you're planning on doing that by, like taking them on a trip. I want to say you're like a weekend getaway or something. Because you feel very protective of the presentation and the experience of this evolved version of you. All wonderful things. I hope this resonates for y'all and that you have a fantastic week. And thanks so much for hanging out with me. I will see y'all again soon. Bye.